My parents love spending time with their grandbabies, so it was nice to spend Valentine's weekend with them and let them run and play and do all the things with their Nina and Pappy. So that's something that I enjoyed about this weekend. Um, Thank you, Paula, for sharing your daughter's birthday. Happy belated birthday to your daughter. Jamie says Valentine dinner with her husband. Yes, it's always nice to go out and enjoy your partner's time. You might not always get to do that. I know we're so busy, and so it's nice that you were able to take some time and do that. It's very nice. Joshua, you're doing homework. It will be so worth it. You just wait. I know it will be. So hopefully that kind of pushes you through
Yeah.
this next semester. Uh-huh.
Okay, just a moment.
Okay, I'm gonna move on and go into program updates. Hold on just a sec. Sorry. This is just a reminder. If you haven't turned in reports for households that new households that you've served in January, or households that you previously reported on in another month, and maybe they were successfully housed in the month of January, go ahead and email them over to me, or you can take a picture and send it to me, or you can mail the hard copies to HHCK's address, physical address, not email address. um, and if you are in a position that trains, manages, or recruits volunteers to do housing related services, go ahead and send over those volunteer reports as well. I wanted to take some time today, since we are kind of in that halfway point of the program year. Mid-year evaluations went out earlier this month. So I just kind of wanted to take some time to talk about what the leave policy is as you're serving with an AmeriCorps program, right? So I broke it down based on the types of hour requirements we have with the positions available to us. So you're either in a 1,700 hour position, 1,200 hour position, or a 900 hour position. And so 1,700 hours, you start your term of service with 10 personal, 10 sick. 1,200, it's 7 personal, 7 sick. 900 hours, it's 5 personal, 5 sick, right? This is all listed in your member service agreement. This is not new information. This is not new language. I just want to use this time to just kind of remind us, or if you have any questions about it, to ask. This is definitely a time where you have the floor and you can ask any questions about it. So the days off for personal or sick time, they're not counted towards your hour requirement, right? So it's not like you're going to accrue 7.5 hours or 8 hours to go towards whatever your um, hour requirement for the whole program year is. So it is built in to offer you time off throughout your term of service. So when we take days off, it does factor, or we do need to um, take into consideration that it does factor in your weekly schedule that you have created with the site that you're serving at, right? So your weekly um the amount of hours that you serve weekly could typically be 37 and a half hours. So if you take a day off, then you would be logging like 30 hours for that week. That's just an example, okay? We created this leave policy to help everyone stay on track with their hours. So you don't get to a point in the year where we don't want people to have to get to a point where they're, having to serve 50 hours a week. I mean, that is insane. We want you to be able to take time off as you need to, as things kind of come up unexpectedly, right? We can't determine when we're going to get sick and things like that. And we do understand that health issues or injuries or life happens to all of us. And so I just wanted to use this time to just remind you guys about that. If you do go over the set amount of time off for personal or sick use, if you go over that, if you're a full-time member, if you go over the 10 personal and 10 sick days, um, and you start needing to serve more than 37 and a half to 40 hours a week, that is something that I'm going to reach out to you and your supervisor. At You guys communicate so well with me, so I know it's probably something that we've already discussed, but if we need to get a plan in place to help you get back on track, ultimately the goal of the program is for you to successfully complete it. And that's what we want to do earlier on in the year rather than later. So you're not in such a bind trying to get those hours completed. Um, but again, I just wanted to take a few minutes and just remind us of what that looks like. If you have any specific questions, you know how to get in touch with me. Just call me, text me, email me, and I will be sure to get back to you with an answer quickly. The next thing I wanted to talk about is so mid last week, yeah, last Wednesday, I had a meeting, programs had a meeting with Serve Kentucky, which they oversee Kentucky AmeriCorps programs. And so for our new members, returning members are very familiar with what a member roundtable is. And so in short, Serve Kentucky likes to meet with members, typically in the second half of the program year, to talk about what your experience has been like with the program that you're serving with. You also get to meet other members serving in different programs, hear about their experiences, see what types of services they're doing, if they're in a school setting, or if they're in a camp setting, things like that. And so on last Wednesday, Serve Kentucky gave us the dates for um, virtual and in-person dates. And so for virtual, they have given two options. So if there's not a in-person roundtable that's happening near you, I would like for you to attend either the February 20th virtual roundtable or the April 7th. I'll send out reminders and stuff. Um, the virtual Zoom link I will include in the recap email. I didn't think there was any reason to include it on a PowerPoint slide when I just send out the recording. So I'll make sure to send that out. If for some reason one of the dates over on the right hand side that are in person that maybe doesn't work with your schedule, I would really like for you to also join a virtual member roundtable so that you can meet the program officers that oversee AmeriCorps programs. Again, it's just going to be members. Program staff are not invited. And I don't mean that in an unwelcoming way. It really is to talk to you and about your experience in an AmeriCorps program here in Kentucky. So I'll send out reminders. So if you are in one of the areas or close to one of the areas that an in-person meeting is happening, I would really like for you to go. HHCK/Homes for All, we will pay you mileage. So we will reimburse your mileage for going. You also get to count the hours to So your travel to the in-person meeting, your travel back, the time that you are spent there, you get to count all of that time to go towards your hour requirement. So it's not something that you are being asked to do like on your own time. You do get to count it towards service. And you get to meet some new people. So I will be reaching out to you guys individually to make sure that you have the location, the address, and everything like that. So, um, yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. The first virtual option is this Friday. So I'll share that again in the recap email from today, so that, if there isn't a date near you, you can join that virtual option and talk to some other folks who are in a different part of the state doing a different type of service. Um, Next, I just wanted to share this picture collage that I created with some of the pictures that I got from MLK Day. And then in the middle is a quote. One of our members serving at Housing Development Alliance in Perry County, she wrote a little article about MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. And so I wanted to add the quote from part of her um, writing. She wrote, MLK recognized that poverty and the lack of basic necessities, especially housing, keep people stuck in cycles of hardship. And that really resonated with me and the service that you guys are providing daily. It doesn't go unrecognized. And I just want to say thank you so much for, committing to a year of service at your site and also with our program. So thank you guys so much. And then I am going to hand it over to Paula. Like I said, we're going to take a few of our months to kind of do this service site spotlight so you guys can see and hear from other members in our program and hear about the service and the services that their site is providing, where they're at, and we could just kind of get more familiar with resources across the state. Um, Paula, hold on just a second. Let me ask you, do you have a PowerPoint?
I do, yeah.
Okay, great. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I am going
Okay.
to make you the host so that you can
Okay.
share yours. Give me just a second. All right, you're the host now.
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can figure this out.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yep, we can see it.
Oh, hold on just a sec.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
All right. Should have started at the beginning. Okay. Is that good?
Yes.
All right, guys. I'm Paula Cox. I'm originally from Bowling Green, Kentucky, and I am currently an AmeriCorps worker at Hotel Inc., which is located in Bowling Green, Kentucky, a nonprofit organization. And I'm excited to highlight our partnership and talk to you guys more about that. Um, I am emphasizing Bowling Green, Kentucky because even though I'm from here, I moved away for quite a few years. And so I was going to see if you guys wanted to drop in the chat where you're located. Because after growing up here and moving away, I kind of lost uh, track of, kind of Kentucky and where everybody is. So I know Holly, okay, Ashland, yeah, it's cool. Holly is more like Lexington area, I think. A lot of Ashlands. Okay. Frankfurt. That's right. Not Lexington. Okay. Very cool. That gives me a better idea of kind of where everybody is and watching from. like I said, I moved away from Bowling Green and then I moved to Maryland where I was there for about 20 years. And when I got back to Bowling Green, I didn't really know what was happening in Bowling Green, but I was very interested in partnering with some meaningful organizations. I knew I wanted to be involved in something. I just didn't know what. So I did a Google search for nonprofits in the area, looking for kind of community development work, and Hotel Inc. popped up. And so I began volunteering at Hotel Inc. in 2024, kind of in probably like early summer of 2024. Um, Hotel Inc. is, let's see. So I'm not super good at slides here. So let's see if I can get back to them. Hotel Inc. is uh, has a long, long history. Started back in 1980. Some people who were in a Bible study together and wanted to love their neighbors in word and deed. So they began taking clothes donations and providing hot meals. And during this time, they were gifted this old hotel. So this is what it looked like in its heyday. But when we got it, it looked more like this. Not a great picture, but only one I could find. It was pretty much in disrepair, and so they got it, tried to use it with a plan of uh, really making it kind of a transitional housing or emergency housing place, where they were going to have live-in staff and let people move in for 6 months and really help them and work with them through that. Um, and so this was their goal. Unfortunately, I think just the sheer amount of money that it was going to take to get it done, and then a fire in 1984 actually just kind of caused that not to happen. But because of that, they got their name, Hotel Inc. And so many people call us and say, do you guys have, we need to stay there. And it's very misleading. But it's called Hotel Inc. because it was helping others through extending love in the name of Christ. So that's kind of where it started. Back at that time, the Salvation Army was here in town, but it only would house people overnight and give them a meal, maybe that night when they came and then the next morning. So Hotel Inc. saw the need for emergency shelter and was trying to work on that. After that, we moved to the historic Delafield neighborhood, which is one of the first neighborhoods in Bowling Green. It's known as kind of the gateway of Bowling Green, and this mural on the side of our building tells the story kind of. This is the river that runs, the Barron River that runs close to us. We're on Boat Landing Road, and so steamboats would come in and deliver goods. And this little rock church here was built, and our building is attached to that church. And so that's just part of our history in this neighborhood, um, and part of kind of who we are. Here's another picture of the church. And we do all of our ceremonies in there. And there's a bell tower up here, and we ring the bell. And it's just a neat place to celebrate people when they go through our program. When they moved here, Hotel Inc. was um, really wanting to do a lot of hands-on relief work. And so they had an overflow of donations. As you can see, some volunteers working here. They opened up a clothing store and a food pantry, and they also gave financial aid and helped with disaster relief, and even had a like giving health appliances away, like wheelchairs and walkers and things like that. And they did this for about the first 30 years. In 2012, however, the board hired a new director and they wanted to prioritize adding transitional housing. And so we opened our first transitional house um, in around 2012. At that time, we were still doing the clothes closets, the food pantry. We had about 150 volunteers a month that were helping to run those things. So it was a um, pretty big uh, busy place going on every day. Um, Around 2015, um, the leaders at Hotel Inc. began researching and moving more towards like an asset-based model where they were asking neighbors in the community what the assets of the community were and how they could be utilized to become the community and the neighborhood that the neighbors wanted it to be. And so Hotel Inc. began making intentional steps to become less transactional and traditional charity work and more community-based development work. They added an educational component and direct services to help those experiencing homelessness. And in 2018, they closed the closed closet, the food pantry, revamped the aid program, and developed the neighborhood Delafield Neighborhood Group, which is the picture that you see here. And Hotel Inc. really got serious about addressing holistic needs of partners through one-on-one navigation and also through education classes. And so shortly after this, along with the rest of the world, we experienced a global pandemic. And so Hotel Inc. did work to address emergency community needs. But through that and through the development of the Delafield Neighborhood Group and through reducing the amount of aid work that we were doing, the neighborhood and the voices around really talked about how they needed fresh food and produce and just there was nothing like that accessible. We'd had a grocery store that had closed many years ago. And so the Delafield Co-op Market was born. And the market partners with local farmers to provide neighborhood with fresh produce, meat, and dairy products. We have over 800 members at our co-op, and they're from all over Bowling Green, not just Delafield and the West End, but Delafield and West End members shop at 30% discount, while the other members pay retail so that we can keep this co-op going and offer, reasonably priced food for our neighbors. And we also offer double dollars to EBT shoppers. So when they spend $20, they get the next $10 worth of food for fruits and vegetables, and then another $10 worth of meat and dairy products. So we really try to make that accessible and affordable for our neighbors and for anyone who is looking for fresh food. And so this is just another way that we have reached out and extended these things to our neighborhood. We really have kind of a health and housing focus. And so this being one of the ways that we work towards health. And that community aspect is where kind of health and housing meets, where we really want to be part of this community and work together for the good of the community. And so these are all the things that Hotel Inc. has been doing. I am a navigator, and a navigator is someone who works one-on-one with someone experiencing homelessness. And so I provide support through partnership and education to help people kind of overcome any barriers that they are finding that would keep them from finding stability in housing. We like to say it's person-led, and so our partners are really in charge. It is a long-term program. It's not something that happens fast, but we begin meeting with a partner and they are in the driver's seat, and I really am in kind of the passenger seat to help them address anything that they might need addressing. Sometimes it's getting identification or birth certificates, support as they look for a job, pointing them towards expungement opportunities, being a listening ear as they are processing through, frustrations that they're having, finding a place, working on budgeting and understanding credit, those types of things, helping them apply for Section 8 or Housing Authority when appropriate. And then we also have transitional houses, a couple of transitional houses that I mentioned. And so if someone is moving towards that plan of stability and they may need just a couple more months to get there, we have transitional houses that they can rent for a reduced price and and kind of do some savings towards getting into their own place. And so they're usually in our transitional house between 1 and 3 months, where we're still working with them and still helping them as they are moving into their next place. Another thing that I do here, and that I haven't mentioned, is that we have medical respite and street medicine. And so our medical respite homes are places where people who have been in the hospital, have had surgery, and they are released and they have nowhere else to go to recover. We take them and they are in our medical respite homes. And we just check in on them. They are under a doctor's care. We may help them get back and forth to their doctor's appointments as they recover, and then eventually help them transition into their own place as well. And then our street medicine team is a team of doctors, nurses, and myself. We have a doctor, a nurse practitioner, and several nurses, and we either go out into the community looking for patients, but we also partner with Room in the Inn, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with Room in the Inn, something, a program like that. In Maryland, we called it WARM, Wrapping Arms Around Many. But it's a program that houses people who are experiencing homelessness overnight at churches between November 15th and March 15th, so in the coldest nights. So twice a week, our street medicine team will go there and will offer medical services to anybody that's there waiting to go to the church for the evening, so that we can address any flu, any symptoms, any chronic things that they might be facing. And if they need more than that, we help and connect them to more medical, um, more long-term medical help here in town. And so those are the things that I help with. And I really love my job and I love being able to work with people. I love that people go through our program and they see that um, they have support and power within themselves to really figure out their next steps. And so it's just priceless to see people's faces. We just had someone actually get into a place today, and it's just been so great to see all of the obstacles that they have overcome to achieve that dream of stability and housing. It's such a good feeling to know that, you know, you're not doing something for someone that they can do for themselves, but you are supporting and empowering people to move forward in their own pace and their own choices and the way that they want to do so. And so I just love working here. Here's some of our 2025 impact. We were able to house 108 people last year. That's 66 households. We increased our Delafield Market Co-op outreach. We graduated 43 people from our foundations program. We have been providing consulting to other nonprofits around so that this can continue to grow. And we increased our medical respite program beds from 3 to 12. And so those are all great things that we are able to do to make an impact here in our little town. Even though we are a little organization, there's only I think 11 of us that work here at Hotel Inc. We try to make as big an impact as we can, and really work hard to just honor our neighbors and the people that we're working with. So.
Thank you, Paula. That was great. Thank you so much. I always love just rehearing about our sites and the great things that sites are doing across the state. And just I don't know, it's such a positive thing. And thank you so much for sharing the yearly impact that Hotel Inc. had in 2025, and sharing those photos from way back when the
Absolutely.
organization was first started. It kind of puts everything into perspective and how the name came about, which really um, I don't know, it just kind of brings people in to learn more about Hotel Inc. So I really appreciate you sharing about where you are and what you're doing. And I'll ask if anybody has any questions for Paula. And then I do have a question, but I'll wait just a sec before.
Okay.
Okay. Well, on your impact for 2025, you mentioned like consulting with other nonprofits in the Bowling Green area. And
Mhm.
so have you been a part of those meetings? Are those nonprofits doing similar work and services like Hotel Inc? Um, I guess just kind of
Um,
share what you know.
yeah, yeah. So, one great thing about Bowling Green is that we try to all work together and not do too much overlap. That was one
Sure.
reason why Hotel Inc. kind of turned from that more relief-based thing is, there's a time and a need for that. But I feel like Hotel Inc. maybe even led the way a little bit for
Hmm.
moving from that model. And so we have other entities around us that we work with. Salvation Army is one,
Hmm.
and here we have something called Life Navigation Center.
Hmm.
Um, it was set up by the city of Bowling Green, and it
Okay.
is a collaborative center. Like we have an office there, and we keep office hours there. But it's a place where people can get their mail, can take showers, and can do their laundry. And so it's kind of a hub for
Yeah.
the Salvation Army, for Room in the Inn, for Hotel Inc., for another entity called, oh, I'm totally losing the name on it, Life Skills. So we can all meet partners there, and we
Hmm.
do all meet together to talk about, okay, who's doing what and how can we utilize the resources that we have in the best way.
Hmm.
And, uh, like the Life Navigation Center has some respite housing.
Hmm.
We might have the people that need to go into the respite housing, and so we partner in
Sure.
that way.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, to really just make the most of the little bit that we all have. We put it all
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's really great to hear. Sometimes that's just not the case in
Yeah.
other communities, and
Yeah.
um, which kind of adds to the barriers that some people face. And so that's really cool that
Exactly.
you guys are
Yeah.
really working together um, in your area. I
Yeah.
really appreciate you sharing that. And also, congratulations on someone moving in to
Thank
their own
you.
place. That is a great way to
Yeah.
start a Monday, that's for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
So,
guys, I feel like the group is small because of the random, I shouldn't say random. Oh my gosh. Anyways, there is a holiday, President's Day, that is not a holiday that our program um, observes. And so I think that's why attendance was a little bit lower today, and that's totally fine. But I do just kind of want to recap what we talked about. Um, if you have any questions about our leave policy, of course, reach out to me. If you have questions about your hours, anything like that, always reach out to me. If you have not completed your mid-year evaluation yet with your supervisor, maybe kindly nudge your supervisor and see if that's something that you guys can get on your all's calendars soon. I did ask for them to be back by the end of the month. So I know it's just mid-month, but just kind of putting that reminder out there. And then lastly, there will be some roundtables with Surf Kentucky program officers. Like I said, there are two virtual um, options, and then they had several in-person options. And so, if there is an in-person option near you, I will reach out to you directly, and others in our program that are nearby. We will pay reimbursement for your mileage. And again, you get to count all of your time commuting there, commuting back home, and the duration of the visit. So I think that that's all that I really wanted to cover this month. I will be reaching out to see who our next um which site will be kind of spotlighting next month for March, and also just kind of um, starting to have the conversations about our spring service project that happens later on in the year, and get some of those final dates for events that we'll have again, our spring service project, our end of year celebration in the summer, and stuff like that, so that everyone has plenty of time to make arrangements. And yeah, I think that's about it. If you guys have any questions, um, reach out to me, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. I'll stay on in case anybody has any questions. If not, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, guys.